Donald Trump is often surrounding himself with Republican yes men and spineless cowards in the MAGA majority in the House, or Fox News hosts always willing to tell him how great he is. It is rare that Donald Trump encounters someone willing to call him out to his face, but that is exactly what happened today when Donald Trump hosted a group of governors from across the country, and the governor of Maine, Janet Mills, called him out to his face. And as you'd expect, Donald Trump threw an absolute tantrum. But it wasn't just that. The rest of the speech, he was thrown off whatever game he has and was really just all over the place and weird. It was an absolute disaster for Trump. I cannot wait to get into it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into that conflict between them, Donald Trump started off his speech in a pretty weird way, talking about the one issue he seems to not care about.
And she's going to be a fantastic secretary, and you'll do something with the eggs, because I'm hearing so much about eggs. You'll figure it out. You got to figure something out fast. But and we inherited all of the problems. You know, at some point, a few months down the road, we won't be able to say it's so much us. But the big things, really, we can blame other people for, to allow criminals into our country at levels that nobody's ever seen before, to allow people from jails, to have countries from all over the world be allowed to empty jails into an open border. They emptied jails and prisons, mental institutions, insane asylum, gang members, drug lords, drug people, people on drugs, people that are very sick. They allowed them to come into our country totally
I wanted to check out that clip first, and then we are going to get into Janet Mills' takedown of Donald Trump. But it's so funny how clearly he just doesn't care. And let's also remember the beginning of the Biden presidency, when it was Joe Biden's complete responsibility that Donald Trump didn't say he took any accountability for, to solve the COVID pandemic and to not just fix our economy, but he ended up making it boom. And did he ever say, well, you know, Donald Trump left us a pretty bad situation. It's kind of his fault. Maybe in a couple months we'll take accountability. No, he just went in and fixed it. And Donald Trump, now raising prices because of his tariffs and because he doesn't care about addressing the bird flu, is blaming Joe Biden for egg prices. The egg prices, by the way, he doesn't care about. Not really a shock there, but this is what we've come to expect. But again, what was a shock is that Trump got confronted. So let's not waste any more time. Let's check that out right here.
We need people in the country, but they have to come in legally. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue, because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, you know, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever, a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then a guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned, and he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That will be a record not going to be broken again in a long. So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no, no, no more, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, no, that's it. She didn't want to die, and it's crazy. But the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it, because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, Your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end this
Just absolutely magnificent, chef's kiss, no notes. Donald Trump should not force Democratic governors to do anything. They should not be bending the knee. They have to be responding. They have to be stepping up. Donald Trump is not the law. He may think that he's a king. He may post pictures with a crown on his head to the official White House account, which is insane, by the way. I don't even think we got to talk about that. There's been so much news. Donald Trump also announced that he is the only one who can state what the law is. That's not how our country works. And it's time Democrats do exactly what Janet Mills just did, step up and to his face say, I am not going to let you bully me. I am not going to let you push me around. And more importantly, I am not going to let you push my constituents around. I am not going to let you go after my state and go after the people who lived in it because you think you have some fake mandate off, 49.3% of the popular vote? No, Donald, you are incredibly unpopular. You are the most unpopular president in history. You were the worst president in history, and you are not a king. Deliver that message. Talk about the failures of DOJ. Talk about the corruption of the White House. Talk about how incompetent this administration is, and push back. And if you need any greater idea of just how stupid Trump sounded, take a look at this right here.
But we build our own utility. They can have their own utility. If they have any extra, they can put it onto the grid. But this way, they're not subject to a bad grid or a dangerous grid or a grid that gets taken out by bombs or war or anything else. So they actually couldn't believe it. They said, you think you could get that approved? Yeah, I'll get that approved very quickly. They couldn't believe it, and they're so happy.
We have Elon Musk doing ketamine and running around, mumbling through his words and sounding like a ridiculous person. And then we have Donald Trump, who can't articulate a single policy thought, no matter what the subject is. And we're supposed to believe that these two are the super geniuses who are going to solve the government. It's just such a ridiculous notion that Donald Trump knows anything that he's talking about or understands anything that he's doing, and it's not just some big show. And speaking of Elon Musk and the type of activities he's been engaged in, Donald Trump had some thoughts on drugs in this clip right here.
If you notice that every country that has the death penalty has no drug problem, they execute drug dealers. And when you think about it, it's very humane, because every drug dealer, on average, they say, kills at least 500 people, not to mention the damage they do to so many others, but they kill large numbers of people.
What a nice, comforting speech to get immediately to the death penalty. That's great. That's great stuff right there from Donald. Super uplifting, super exciting stuff. Just so strange, especially when you consider who Donald's son is, Don Jr. Just scratching my nose there. And considering what Elon Musk looked like yesterday at CPAC, like I said, just mumbling with his sunglasses on because he was clearly trying to conceal something. And Donald Trump's got some thoughts on drugs, and he said more right here.
We have a situation where we have now hired a couple of the best agencies, and we're going to spend about $100 million, maybe $200 million on advertising, saying that when you take certain drugs, the drug fentanyl, et cetera, it destroys your skin, it destroys your teeth, it destroys your brain, it destroys everything. And really horrible commercials. I mean, I've seen the first of them, and they are brutal. They are brutal. And when some young kid is sitting down watching this commercial a couple of times, I really don't think they're going to be taking drugs. So I think that this is a big statement, but I think we can drop it 50%, 50, by doing this.
Maybe instead of spending $200 million on advertising, which isn't your whole thing cutting waste, fraud, and abuse? Do we need that? Couldn't, maybe we not spend that money? Couldn't you just tell Elon to stop doing or whatever he's doing? I don't even know. It's a lot. Maybe Don Jr. as well. This goes against everything that you supposedly stand for, which isn't a shock that Donald Trump or any Republicans being a hypocrite for that matter. but it's just so ridiculous. And like I said, how is this the guy that we expect to be able to solve problems and combat crises, which are increasingly popping up? Talking about our foreign policy, listen to what he said about Zelensky.
Well, I see pictures that you fortunately don't get to see. You don't want to see them. And that is a killing field. You have young soldiers being killed, thousands a week, and we got to get it over with. It's bad for Russia, and it's bad for Ukraine, and it's bad for us on a humanitarian basis. I've had very good talks with Putin, and I've had not such good talks with Ukraine. They don't have any cards, but they play it tough. But we're not going to let this continue. This war is terrible. It would have never happened if I were president, but it did happen, so I got stuck with it, and the whole world is stuck with it. And right now you have a country that has its cities, they look like demolition sites. Those beautiful towers, those 1,000-year-old golden domes that were so beautiful, the most beautiful in the world, they say, they're all in smithereens.
Has Donald Trump just decided that every world leader who is our ally is now his punching bag? Like, is that what we're doing on this thing? Is that what we think is smart? Oh, gosh. As I continue to say, he just sounds dumb. And I think sometimes that we should just admit that he sounds dumb, call him dumb because he is dumb. Like, these people don't know what they're doing. I'm tired of giving any credibility to the possibility that Trump is playing 4D chess or has some plan. No, he is just incompetent and easily won over by dictators. And he just sounds dumb, and it's embarrassing. Now, like, listen to him talk right here.
Nobody. It was 1 in 20,000. Now we have 1 in 34. Is that right? 34. So 34 or 36 kids have autism. And if you go back, I guess 18 years, that whenever that was done, it was 1 in 20,000. So we got from 20,000 to 34, 36. That's unbelievable. So there's something wrong. There's something wrong. We've done something wrong. There's something, you're going to figure it out. Maybe it's a spray that we spray all over the place that nobody else does. Other countries.
This is why when there was the conversation about Republicans putting any sort of parameters, right, on the aid to California, saying, well, we might want to condition it. You guys have to, you have to fix your waterways this way, and you have to, adjust your fire response in that way. It's like, these people are not smart enough to be shaping policy. Donald Trump is not smart enough to do anything. Listen to him talk. Like, he's so stupid. And we got to call him out, just like Janet Mills. And we're going to be doing that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you're stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.